I'm also pretty happy with my team. I have like 3 Worlds reps and the Vegas champ and Dish Soap. So I mean, well, yeah, it's reps.
This guy just referred to himself in the third person as the Vegas champ. Didn't even say his fucking name, man. He just referred to himself as the Vegas champ.
It was like a list of credentials.
My God, what a giga champ.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Don't Talk If You Don't Know, the official podcast dedicated to all things North American teamfight tactics. We've also expanded. This week was also a really important week for us because we've expanded to EMEA, hosted by Impetuous Panda and Alan ZQ. So we're going to try our best to hold up to their production value. And what a start. I misaligned Wasianiverson's username. So go ahead, Bryce. How are you doing? Welcome to this first episode of Set 10, at least from the comforts of our home. We did an episode in Vegas, but it was like very impromptu and informal.
Yeah, fun episode though, actually, as far as these things go. I'm doing well. I'm completely exhausted, but I am, as always, immediately finding energy to hang out on the podcast and talk about TFT. It's a lovely break from my life right now, which is, joyful but overwhelming, I would say, is a fair way to describe it. So this is great. I wish I got to watch more TFT and play more TFT. So that's pretty fun.
The joke is that Bryce hit twin terror because the twins came, and now he's kind of had his hands full.
But the thing
how
is,
do you actually balance that? Like, how do you balance? Like, how are you even you're like grandmasters right now? You're still trying to climb the challenger. You're actually pretty close to challenger, but like, how do you actually balance doing all this? Because you still haven't even gone back to work, right? Are you still on paternity leave?
No, I'm back at work.
Oh my God, because you're juggling career and 3 kids. And
the answer is there's been a market decline, like the amount that I've gotten to watch and play. I tried to play today, and it was terrible. And I shouldn't have been playing. I'm not confident enough in what's going on yet. I need to get caught up. I'm going to be able to spend a decent amount of time tomorrow, and I'm completely exhausted. I slept 5 hours, and so when sometimes you're playing TFT and you're playing bad TFT, but then you get tilted because you lost LP, so then you have to keep playing TFT.
Yeah.
I did that today, and thank God that Mortdog blessed me with a full gold opener in my final game for the easiest first of my life, because I'm pretty sure that I was not getting first unless Mortdog slapped me in the face with it tonight. So we take those, ended on a high note. Yeah, but the answer is I'm not really juggling it, Dan. It ebbs and flows. It's really, really, really hard, and I feel like I lose the battle more than I win the battle these days.
Well, I think you're doing your best, which I think everyone appreciates, the effort that you put in. And thankfully, we have 2 of North America's greatest minds here to help you maybe get caught up on everything if you're missing anything. Welcome back again, Wasianiverson, to the podcast. But this time you're on a preview show, so you get the fantasy draft instead of kind of recap things and talk about like your epic set. So how's Set 10 been? How's life, man, since we've had you on a couple months ago?
Oh, really good. I mean, I feel like, I'm on the show all the time now, but I mean, that's great. I'm really happy about that. Taking over Bryce's spot as a host. But
doing great.
You're appearing on more episodes lately than Bryce, but that was for Set 9 because he went through a crazy period. I should be back.
Literally what happened was when we came back, I kind of picked the guest for this episode, and I was like, I want to talk to Wage, and I'm like curious I think it'd be like a good way of kicking off Milala just one. And Dan's like, again? And I was like, yeah, I know, but I didn't do the other one, so it feels like it doesn't count. I'm not counting it.
Yeah. So Wasian, how's Set 10 for you? You were like one of the only prominent players that didn't join us in Vegas because you were stuck with the exams.
Yeah, that kind of sucked, but at least I hit rank 1 during that time, so I wasn't doing nothing. But yeah, I'm super excited for KDA Cup, excited to fantasy draft, and I'm happy there was a patch. I was getting really bored of the last patch. So
do you think, how much edge do you think you got from being able to be the person at home versus being the person in Vegas? Because in Vegas, you're playing less, you're plugged in less, you're distracted all the time, whereas you got to like really sink your teeth into the data, to the game itself. How much edge do you think you had coming out of Vegas?
I don't think it was like a super lasting edge, but I feel like at the time, like my streams were doing really well, and I feel like when people came back from Vegas, I feel like I actually had like kind of a better meta read than most of the people who were at Vegas.
Right. Makes sense.
So
yeah, and that's exactly what I'm asking. Do you think that if you could have like magically teleported to Vegas on the final day, how competitive do you think you would have been in the final lobby at Vegas? Because I'm assuming you watched some of the play, right? So you had a sense of like what people were doing and not doing.
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, I feel like I would have had a pretty good chance just because no one was playing AD Flex at Vegas, but I feel like I actually had like a really good understanding of AD Flex. Like that was how I gained like all of my LP. So I feel like if I was just able to like play like some completely uncontested AD Flex, that would have actually done pretty well.
Okay. That was my impression. That's why I asked, because I remember talking to you right afterwards. I was like, I think that he's right about all the things he's saying, and I'm pretty sure that this is pretty different than what a lot of what I'm watching in front of me. So yeah.
All right. Well, we also have the person who was in that final lobby and did a lot more than play. He won the whole damn thing. Welcome, Milala, back to the show. Milala, last time we had you was with Bosso Skills, I believe, like over a year ago. So it's been quite some time. And your TFT journey has actually had a lot of ups and downs. And now it seems to be, peaking again. You're streaming a lot more. So just talk to me about like how life's been since the Vegas Open, since your win.
Yeah, honestly, like winning Vegas was like just basically like a dream come true. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like I think like as a TFT player, you like dream of just like winning like an international tournament and like being the first like player to win the TFT LAN. It's just like an insane experience. Honestly, for me, I don't know how I feel about streaming. It's just like I don't know if it's like really for me. It's like kind of exhausting. I don't know how like everyone does it, but I just thought like I was presented an opportunity to stream and like I have to like make the most of like what life gives me. And I'm like sort of at like the peak, I guess, of my career since I just won the Vegas Open. So I just wanted to make the most out of every opportunity I get.
So, out of curiosity, because I haven't had a chance to watch your stream, I haven't basically been watching anyone's stream. What do you feel like you're trying to do the same thing the other people are doing in terms of like how much you're interacting with chat and what it looks like for you, or are you doing it kind of a different way?
Oh no, I feel like I'm just like I'm like a content machine.
Okay.
Like, I'm just playing for fun. And, like, I just read. I like read every message, like even like the dumb full ones. And like I'm not really taking the game too seriously.
So I wonder if you did it like more authentically to how you would play TFT, if it would be the same level of exhausting for you.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's usually just like I prefer like just playing like a few games a day and just like sitting in call with like Wasian and like Philip.
Yeah.
And like I'd rather just like play a game and then like watch like two and just like do nothing.
So then, out of curiosity, so I've thought about this because I feel the same way. Whenever I stream myself playing tournament games, I find it completely exhausting and I don't really enjoy it, but I have to do it, so I might as well do it. And I thought about if I ever did stream, I think I don't want to do it the way they're doing it either. Why don't you have you ever thought about just streaming the way what you just described? Like, I think people would enjoy watching a couple of games and then having you watch a couple, like do a VOD review on stream and just kind of talk about what you're doing. Like, I've also thought about maybe doing games where you literally don't interact with chat during the game. And it will hurt your viewership some, but you could say, listen, anyone who wants a backseat me, just put a timestamp of the round and whatever you say. And when the game's done, we'll go through it. I'll go through your questions for real. And we can talk about the game, but we'll do it after, not during. Is any of this resonating at all?
Yeah. We definitely thought about it before because like I like initially like when our like study group first came out, like it's like me, Wasian, and Basso, like I think even Nature's like told us in like the Showtime Suck server that like you guys should just do like stream like the three of you guys and call, like it'll be good content and like it'll probably be fun for you guys.
Yeah.
But it's just like I would consider
is the reason why you're not doing it?
I just feel like we don't really act like our true selves on stream. I don't know, it's because like we're scared of like the people watching it, like maybe like like some things get said.
Yeah, so what people probably don't know is that these guys, if you listen to their calls, you sometimes wonder if they're friends at all. They like, it almost like, do you guys hate each other secretly? Like, what's going on? Are you guys actually frenemies and just happen to be near each other? Like, it's really fun. They actually flame each other nonstop. So I enjoy that dynamic.
Wasian's gonna lose his nice guy reputation if he's with him in the call.
Oh, I didn't even know Wasian was in on it too. Okay, all right. So,
wow, I'm a nice guy for real, guys. I promise.
The Wasian villain arc, is it time?
Yeah. Well, okay. Kind of following up on that, Milala, it is your stream. I'm glad that you're feeling like you're stepping up to it. But at the same time, TFT needs to be fun. And if it's something that's like a chore, that's how you sap the enjoyment. That's how things spiral out of control. So if you're not having fun with it, man, like just, scale back to whatever. I kind of go back with Bryce's. Ultimately, the authenticity is what helps you have fun. I have a lot of fun doing what I do. I'm playing 50% of the time. So, you don't feel like, I can encourage you, don't feel like you have to always play. I think people just want to hang out.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that note, we did talk a little bit about Vegas as well, but we realized that we haven't really had an episode since like December, so it's been quite some time. So congratulations, Milala, on the Vegas Open champion. People are asking in chat, where's the belt? You have the belt?
Oh, yeah, I have it, but usually I put it up like on my bed frame.
Yeah,
like
he does.
The check, and then I put like the belt on my bed. Just only when I stream though, but yeah, I mean I can bring it up if you guys want to see it.
I mean, I feel like it's a kind of a flex move if you're like, I don't know, if you're on a date and you bring back and it's like there's a giant ass belt hanging over the bed frame. I don't know. I think that's kind of a Chad move.
Yeah, but I'm like just a little scared because it's like the case is kind of heavy, and like I can only put it above my bed frame, so it's like if anything happens, like I'm doomed.
All right.
This guy is risking his life for the flex. Love it.
I want to see the belt. Just one time for our show. Thank you. Awesome.
They want.
Oh man, did you have FOMO at least, Wasian? I know that obviously you're enjoying it, but watching what was it like watching it from home?
Oh, for sure. I was so excited that Milala won, but I was also like really sad that I couldn't play because I wanted to play like so bad.
You look at that belt.
Like everyone was having so much fun.
Was it a school thing? Was it a money thing? Do you mind if I ask?
Oh no, it was like, I mean, basically like I had like a really hard course that I was doing like pretty well in, and like you can't really reschedule finals, and like my final was like during Vegas, like I know it was like the first day. So like my options were basically just like drop the course and then like do it again later, which seemed like a lot of work, but then I'd be able to go to Vegas. But I don't know. I just decided to like take the exam because I was like almost done the course.
Also, Wasian, to be fair, also had exam times during the World Championships as well. So he's just kind of been like at it in terms of school versus TFT. So it's been impressive. He still hit rank 1, and I think everyone's just excited to see you compete because you're the only person I think, in terms of the prominent faces in North America, haven't really seen compete yet at LAN. So we'll see if that's a coming fruition.
Isn't it pretty safe to say you were the best player not there, and probably by a decent margin? Like, who was this next best player after Wasian that wasn't in Vegas?
From North America.
From North America.
Oh yeah, I feel like everyone was there. Like when I was queuing up, I was getting to like full like masters and like diamond lobbies. Like I feel like just everyone was at
no
Vegas.
one was around.
Yeah, my queues were like 7-8 minutes long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Hopefully next time, man. We won't let you skip out on the next LAN. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of rank 1, we want to do a formal congratulations to a rank 1 player from Riot. Inico hit rank 1 over the holidays and reached a really high amount of LP as well, over 1,700. And I think this is a really cool achievement because it doesn't really happen very often. I asked it on Twitter, right? Like, when's the last time you saw a game dev hit rank 1 in a game at TFT scale, right? Because if you're like an artifact dev, it's probably not that hard to hit rank 1. But if you're playing, TFT, if you're playing TFT, you're competing against millions of players, and it's really, really difficult. So just, I was really, really impressed. And the answer, there are people out there who have done it, right? Some people said like Wild Rift, Ixar, who's the lead dev or lead design director for League of Legends, used to do it for Hearthstone. He got rank 1. But it's just a very rare thing. And 2, people are talking about like the TFT devs, like, do they play the game? Like, who's the people making decisions for balance stuff? I mean, these are some of the people who are doing it. So it's a really fantastic recognition. The cool thing was watching all the rioters come out of the woodworks and just be like really impressed. It's peers respecting peers.
Riot loved this. This got Inico more notoriety at Riot than basically anything he could have done, right? Because he's relatively new, relatively junior on the TFT team, which is like, League of Legends, Valorant, and then there's a gap in TFT, although that gap is closing, and it is closing in a very encouraging way because Vegas was awesome and TFT continues to be an awesome game and grow. But this is just awesome that he's still got it. Happy for Nico. Happy that he's there. The community high rolled when Riot hired Nico.
Yeah. And there's not just Inico, right? He's one of the more front-facing ones, but there's a lot of equally passionate people, maybe not necessarily in terms of grinding rank 1 during the holiday break, but they put their passion and love into the game. So just a really cool thing. And maybe a way for us to glaze them up before maybe we say some other critical things during the show. So we'll see. One of them is something related to this patch, which is, let's go ahead and actually talk about the patch before we get to that, which is, this is one of the biggest patches we've seen ever that wasn't just a straight up mid-set, right? Taking a look at this graphic in general, you see dozens and dozens of changes, almost like overwhelming. Your eyes just gloss over it. So I just kind of want to get first impressions of the patch. So Milala, let's start with you. How's 14.1 treating you so far in the past 2 days or so?
Yeah, I've been playing a decent amount. It seems like there are a lot of TF players and like a bunch of Karthus quality players. It seems that, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are gonna like try to play like the 3 dust rerolls as well. Or it's like, I think like anytime there's like a new patch like reroll, will like sort of like be like pretty prominent the first couple days until people start figuring stuff out. So I think like right now, like 1 cost reroll, 2 cost reroll, 3 cost reroll is really strong. But like maybe when the tournament rolls around, we'll start seeing like some more like flex boards or something.
Okay. So Milala's prediction is we'll see flex develop, but it's just harder, so it'll take more time. If assuming it ever pops up, it theoretically could just be dominated by reroll. Rajin, is your experience similar?
I mean, I feel like this patch was like definitely like a big step in the right direction. I feel like Open 4 was like one of the most tilting things to me, and it seems to be like pretty dead or like much worse. I'm glad APB is playable again. I mean, I don't think everything about this patch is perfect. There's some stuff that's like kind of weird to me, like and like AD flex is kind of dead, and like I don't know, like some like very small things, like why did like health is on the way get nerfed by like 2 rounds, but like stationary got nerfed by 1 round when it's like better, like weird stuff like that. But yeah, I mean overall, I feel like I'm pretty happy with this patch. I know some people aren't that happy, but I like it a lot.
Okay, and just to be clear for people who are either like kind of loosely like following TFT and not really understanding, there's a lot of discussion about the dominance, particularly with Karthus and Pentakill in tandem with Akali, having a lot of access to the back line, assassinating your carries, especially if you're low rolling, you don't have a 2-star version, your carry is just dead. And then you also have Disco Twisted Fate with a bunch of legendaries being very strong, and one of the downsides of Twisted Fate was it was hard to stabilize to get to a legendary board. Now it feels much easier to stabilize, and you hit the cap board, now you're winning the lobbies that people talk about from the previous patch. And I think a lot of people feel a little bit frustrated by the element of how easy it was to tell. I think a lot of my read on the situation here, Bryce, is that I think a lot of people want to be left in mystery when it comes to the patch of what is going to be good. I think the more players are like, this is going to be good, this is clearly S tier, and like it's not going to be close. And when they're right, I think that's when the feelings are really bad for a lot of the players.
I think that's totally right, and I think that probably is a meaningful amount of why there's so much consternation with the patch so early. I do think that people who have really strongly held opinions about this patch should probably just take a beat, because the huge patch, we're probably playing it really poorly right now, and I think as we optimize it, maybe there are more viable strategies than we think. Maybe there's stuff like I know for a fact there's stuff that is broken that people aren't talking about, because like I feel like only 30% of the ladder realizes that Poppy Chosen is fucking bananas broken, and you can play around that so easily. Still, it's so good. Emo Poppy is outrageously good, and I think that almost I basically there's like only a few people that I see ever play around this Chosen to go to 9, and like this is one really small example. It's the one I got because I'm not playing that much, but it's like definitely a thing that I'm noticing that is inefficient. And I think as people get more efficient, maybe the patch is better than we realize. And I think people are always afraid of change. So like anytime this amount of change happens, people are going to be negative about it. But I also thought the last patch was better than a lot of people did. So what the fuck do I know?
Well, I think the issue was any patch in TFT, the longer it plays out, the more people are clamoring for change. I mean, it's funny because you said people are afraid of change, but they also want to change. Yeah. But then streaks also got affected with it, which is another thing as well. And perhaps this is something to even discuss. One of the biggest points of discussion right now is more uncovered headliner rules. This is a screenshot clip from Soju stream where he actually shared a bit of knowledge that I didn't even know. And if I don't know, I mean, I'm one of the most engaged people in the entire TFT scene. This was kind of news to me. So apparently there are additional hidden rules of headliners that we have recently discovered where you can't see a unit that shares a trait with the headliner trait for 4 shops, assuming you're playing around 4 costs. It's different rules based on different costs. So 1, 2, and 3 costs, you can't see it for 7 shops. For 4 costs, you can't see it for 4 shops. Wasian, Milala, correct me if I'm wrong at any of these points. And so, for example, if you see a Dazzler on your Lux, but you don't want Lux because you want Twisted Fate, because Lux is a Dazzler and Twisted Fate is a Dazzler, that means you are locked out of Twisted Fate entirely for that period. And the way to navigate around that is to apparently buy and sell the champion, so that way you reset that counter. But this kind of started a bunch of conversations about like, okay, well, that just kind of makes the headliner lottery even worse, right? Like if you have all these different traits that can get messed up, and that really screws over people based on their trees. Like Karthus, for example, has a lot of sharing traits with pentakill units and executioners across 3 and 4 costs. So like, just kind of creates this whole discussion. And I kind of just want to hear people's take on this current situation here of like, is it a big deal? Are people overreacting? Is it actually a huge deal? And it's like creating too much frustration within the player base. Let's start off with Wasian.
So I mean, first of all, I think Mort has said that that's like not intended and it's gonna get fixed like next patch. But yeah, I mean, it is a big deal for sure. Like I think Darth did some math for like let's say you're playing Yone, and like let's say you're not buying and selling like all of the Aphelios, Set, Ribbon, etc. It takes like 35 gold to like see a Yone chosen on average. But if you are buying and selling them, it takes like 25 gold on average, which is like a huge deal. And like obviously like hitting the chosen faster, that's also going to allow you to like free up the extra shop slots, see more Yones. So I actually feel like buying and selling is going to be like a huge deal, and I think people are going to have to like get used to it for this patch. And honestly, it does kind of suck that it's in the game because it's like very unintuitive and it's just like kind of like tedious, and like you shouldn't really have to do it. So
Yeah. Okay, so then how about this? The shift, so that's good. I didn't know that Mort confirmed that it was unintended and a bug. I think that was discussion of it. Like, is this just a hidden rule that we figured out, or is it actually unintended? So it's good to hear that. So then, Milala, in terms of like the conversation around like this hidden information thing, I think there's a lot of people are saying like they need to tell us that kind of stuff. You're a competitive player. I'm sure you want that most amount of information, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, I definitely think it's like, I don't know, like a little tedious or like a little annoying if you have to like find out this kind of stuff, like just by like, you have to be like so ingrained into the space that like you have to be like watching Soju stream to like find it out, or like I'm like lucky enough to be like friends with like Wasian and like Darth who will like tell me this kind of stuff. But like I assume like if you're not like a super competitive player or like not like super into the scene, it's probably like really tough for you, and you probably get like really frustrated like without having this kind of information.
Yeah, Bryce, have you been able to kind of key in on this conversation as well?
Yeah, I was aware of it. I just linked a thing that I saw earlier that Setsuko actually asked about in our in like that Discord, like the Soju, Setsuko, Milk, Prestiman, etc. Discord, where there was a big shot. Dish Soap was playing That's Jazz, and he passed Big Shot MF, and then 2 rolls later got Jazz Bard.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, there's been instances where like that's actually not even true. And that kind of creates a bunch of this like, well, do we even really know how it works, even though we feel like we've discovered it?
Yeah, for what it's worth, he was really deep in his roll down. So he might have been getting like additional protection. Like it wouldn't shock me if it's non-random and they push you in that at a certain point you'll start to like it condenses what you can see kind of thing based on what he's skipping. I don't know. I'm speculating. But he had rolled deep, but he did hit it 2 shops later. So I'm a little bit unclear about how accurate this is and how much we should be playing around it. Okay. But to be clear, is it the understanding of the bug? Should that be happening, what I just said, or is it because it was Big Shot chosen just means no Big Shot can appear? So Ezreal can't appear, but Bard can appear because it was Big Shot chosen. Does anyone know?
From my understanding, the way it's supposed to work is that if you get offered a Big Shot, you buy and sell, so you can get offered a different Big Shot chosen. That was what I was...
So you don't have to buy, sell every MF if you're looking for Bard. You only have to buy, sell Jazz.
That is correct. Because you don't want it to be like affecting every Jazz unit. That would be like ridiculous.
It makes sense. Yeah,
there's only 2 Jazz units, but you get what I mean.
It's going to wind up being a huge APM check for this weekend, like a huge APM check. Like like if this is part of the game this weekend, then my drafting list changes literally. It's a big deal. There are a lot of players that that struggle with their transition turns. If you struggle with the transition turn and this is going on, you're fucked. It's really, really hard to do this well, and if you miss, it's really punishing, because then it's like, oh, it's not like I can't see this for a shop, it's like, oh, I have mini shops that I can't see this shit now. This is bad.
Yeah, and this is already compounding an issue, which is in set 10 it's already an issue of APM. Like, it's already one of the most difficult execution based sets that we've seen in a while. Dishso's been talking about it for like weeks now, where he thinks that one thing that players are doing wrong is just misdistributing their time. They're not giving themselves time. They're thinking too long. They're checking stats. You need to actually be doing stuff in set 10 because APM actually does matter, or actually that your time distribution matters. So we'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a pause on this because we don't know exactly what the rules are supposed to be, because according to Wasian, it's not intended. Good luck, Mortog and team, figuring that out. We'll see what ends up happening. On to other news. Speaking of tournaments, we do have the KDA Cup, which we're going to discuss in full detail. But another tournament happening this weekend is Mid-Set Finale, or rather the Mid-Set Invitational. This is what is now being the international MSI, so to speak, of TFT, because there's no longer a set 10.5, right? There's no 11.5, so on forth. That was done in set 9. And so what they're going to do is they're inviting an international competition with some top CN players. And I believe Milala is part of that. Is that correct, Milala?
I don't think my seed has been like officially confirmed yet. So
You're on the wiki.
You're on the wiki? It's right here. It says you got replay Milala from North America representing us, which is, in the words of other people, I haven't said this, but 2 world's winners from North America.
I definitely don't think like yeah, it's, I guess sort of in that sense, but I don't know if like the Vegas Open was like as prestigious as like a world championship, but I'll take it.
Which would you have rather won, out of curiosity? Is it a no-brainer worlds for you, or do you have to think about it?
Oh no, I think I would definitely rather win Vegas, just because like the experience. But
Yeah.
it's just like a prestige. Like
It's kind of like the distinction between winning the World Series of Poker main event and like winning some like giga sweaty high roller
Yeah.
event. The giga sweaty high roller event is harder poker start to finish. The main event's pretty fucking cool though.
Yeah, it's cool.
This is why I wish Wasian went to Vegas, because he's played in 2 world championships. So he can actually testify like what's actually like maybe harder theoretically, like spiking something like Vegas or winning worlds. I mean, I don't know if you have any commentary about that, Wasian, at all.
Not really, but I mean, I do think it's really cool that China's doing this, and I mean, they definitely chose like good representatives, like Replay Milala, 2 people who've won like 2 of the biggest tournaments, and even like the other international players. Like, I think it'll be really exciting and fun tournament to watch. It's only a shame that it's at like 4 a.m. the same day as like KDA Cup.
Yes. So for the people who don't know, this is happening this Sunday at 2 a.m. Pacific, which is literally like 10 hours before the KDA Cup finals. So Milala might be a situation where if he does well day 3, he has to play in this event and then also play in day 4 if he advanced. But I guess you have a backup plan if day 3 goes to shit.
Dan, also, we know that you're going to be doing both of them because you're a sicko.
Yes, I'm actually going to be co-streaming day 3 and day 4 of KDA Cup, as well as I'm going to be doing this. It's going to be 20 hours of TFT for me and like 28 hours, something like that. So it's going to be busy. Title from Japan, the reigning world champion. YBY, 3rd in set 8 worlds. Jazz Latte also made it to world championship. Bintum, multi-time Korean world finalist. Michael, multi-time Latin finalist. Like, the list goes on and on with some of these. But they have double 61, right? Europe's unanimous vote number 1. If you guys missed it, the EMEA is now officially an expansion for Don't Talk If You Don't Know. Their first rankings, they did a historical, like, all-time great list for their top performers. Double 61, unanimous number 1. Not a single person didn't put him as number 1. So
anyone who didn't would have been immediately removed from the panel.
Yeah, probably.
I would have immediately got to pin and been like, I don't think this person gets vote anymore, man.
It's good stuff. Although I will say it was very tame for EU. EU tends to not hold back. Like they're very blunt and honest. It was very cordial and professional for this first episode. Pan says, "Don't worry, I was just doing that, making sure that nothing got off the rails." But chat was going in on it, man. Chat was like memeing like crazy. So EU is going to be quite the ruckus if you like trash talk. No one trash talks EU like themselves. They flame EU even harder than we do.
Love it.
Speaking of flame, or rather something that is getting flame, is the organization behind KDA Cup. And I feel like this is worth highlighting because I think accountability matters. This is the 5th year that we have TFT, and this is our 3rd full year of competitive TFT. And we're still suffering from a lot of organizational problems. And I think it's worth highlighting only briefly to try to explain the situation. But I think it peaked with the problem of the wait list in KDA Cup, where a player was put on the wait list. It was actually like 1 or 2 right below me. And they accidentally took the spot that BoxBox had in the tournament because BoxBox name changed it to, I think, his Korean name or a different Korean name in general. And the organizers didn't know that was BoxBox. And I think there was like an administrative error. So they didn't see the name and assumed that BoxBox didn't check in. But he was there. He was ready and present. So they gave BoxBox spot away, realized that was an error, stopped the game, the first game, which was very bad in itself because restarting in TFT is a huge thing. And then when BoxBox got into the tournament, it turns out that the guy below Pro V13, the guy in this thread, who's making this thread, the guy below him got the other wait spot that should have been his. And so he got screwed both ways. They gave away his spot to BoxBox and they give it back. And then because I guess like some administrative miscommunication, the guy below him ended up getting the next waitlist spot, and they were already an hour and a half late into the tournament. Couldn't restart it, so we just lost his spot entirely. It's a new organization. It's GG Tech who's handling the production. They're the people, for those who don't know, also handle EU competitive scene. So GG Tech is handling both EU and NA. But I do know that they're understaffed, and I do think that it's their first time. But I will say that I think we can let the first time slide as long as Heartsteel Cup goes without a hitch, because we definitely don't want these problems going on moving forward, because it's we've been doing this for too long, and I think we can't really afford another setback. And I also want to say one last thing. Can we stop using Google Sheets for everything to track all this shit? This is so like, I mean, it's grassroots, but it feels kind of amateur, Bryce, if you ask me.
It is hard. It's hard. It's hard to find. We need a central hub. Like basically, if you watch Dan's stream, then like every day at some point he goes like, "Did you know that for League of Legends they have a website called LoL Esports, and you can go on the website and look at all the scores and news, and you can figure out exactly what's going on." And I'm like, yeah, it would be really nice. It's gonna happen. Eventually, it's gonna happen. Yeah. It has to be on their roadmap. I just don't know when they're gonna invest to get there. But you're absolutely right, and you're intellectually honest too, because you spent the whole weekend basically defending GG Tech because it was like, look, like it is their first time. They do get a little bit of a pass on this, but you're also holding them accountable like we do. I think it's fair for this to have happened, but if the mistakes happen again the next couple, I'm going to feel very differently about it. So I wish them nothing but best. They've done a great job with EU. There's no reason to believe they won't kind of get it together here. It's hard. They did it last minute. Give them a break.
Yep, 100%. Okay, and on that note, let's go ahead and talk about the first weekend of the KDA Cup finally. Wasian, Milala, did you guys get a chance to see like the first weekend, any of the games? We have the day ones. We can also bring up the day twos, actually. Milala, why don't you go first? Did you get the chance to watch for the first weekend? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. I was mostly watching like Toronto Tokyo play and Southern Heat because they're my friends. But I was also watching Bert because actually like when I first started playing TFT, I watched like a lot of Bert Source, and he was actually in like one of those games that had to be remade. And I felt it was like pretty bad because like he had like a 5 Heartsteel opener on like in the middle of stage 2, and he was like like his spot was like insane, and he was like guaranteed like an insane placement. I think he went like bot 4 the first game because he had to remake. So it's like
yeah, and he like barely missed the tournament. Like if that didn't happen, like he probably would have made like
he was like
so
1 or 2 points off. Oh,
really
that is brutal.
Yeah. Man, and that is. It feels so bad because honestly, there's certain people where if it happened to them, it's like, they'll get them next time, they'll be back, whatever. But Bert, like, is such a special player. It's been a while since he invested in TFT. I was really looking forward to seeing him play in the second weekend. Yep. Like, not having Bert there is a huge loss for NA TFT.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, Wasian, did you get a chance to watch the first weekend, either following players or taking a glance at streams?
Yeah, I did. I was watching like Toronto Tokyo and also like kind of splitting my attention watching like the co-stream. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I was surprised with like the number of big names that got like day 1 and day 2'd. But I mean, I guess at this point, there's like almost like so many big names that like some people are gonna not make top 32 and like some people are gonna get eliminated, and it's like kind of crazy to see. But I think that's just gonna happen like every tournament now.
I used to feel like when building this list of like who got day 1, day 2, I used to feel like we were stretching. We'd put someone on the bottom of the notable like got dayed list, and it's like, yeah, I mean they're known for sure, but like, are they really a big player? Is that like the bar? And I feel like it's gone the other way now, where there were people that I left off of the day 1 list that I was like, I mean, there's just a lot of really good people, and I don't want this list. It already feels like a fucking novel. Like, look at all the people. Like, it's so many people.
You have to squint to kind of see like all the names. Like, there are probably
others that deserve to be on this list. I'm not trying to like disrespect anybody by not putting them on the list. Like, it was just hard. A lot of people are busting early. There's too many good players on the server now.
I mean, chat's also losing it because apparently we included Broseph, which is a joke to them. But they're the lab members who are memeing him. And Broseph almost, you know what? I'm just going to say it. He should have won the DSG trials. He actually got robbed of a DSG spot thanks to Milk. But I digress. But yeah, it's actually really surprising, right? Broccoli has not really been taking this that seriously since Vegas Open. I actually didn't expect him to do well. He actually made it on through waitlist, which is surprising. He's usually a top 32 player easily, like sitting, never really sweating for it. And Sox has kind of been IRL diffed. Emily told me she's just, in general, not trying to push herself competitively. But it is surprising to see, like, I was kind of hoping Ramblin could kind of make another run. But these first weekends are just bloodbaths.
I mean, Insta not making it is like... He's really good.
Yeah, Asa was like rank 1, 1700 LP.
Yeah. And Asa, talking about like the snapshot stuff, he sat for snapshots. He was 33rd, and then he played for half a day and got to rank 1, right? So if he just actually ended up having faith in himself and playing instead of just sitting, he would have made it, and now he wouldn't have gotten weekend 1. So yeah, I do want to give a shout out to BoxBox. He made a pretty good run, but he also put some pretty entertaining plays. Also did some pretty wild stuff. He took like Curse Crown 3-2 with hedge fund and rolled it down on 7 or something like that. It was like wild stuff overall.
I like listened to a lot of the day because I was like bouncing all over the place parenting and stuff, but I like wanted to follow the tournament, so I just had your co-stream on mostly in my ears. And the way you guys were talking about that game, I was like, I need to see what's going on, and I like took my phone out of my pocket, like looked at the spot where he took Curse Crown, and I looked at this, and you guys were like debating, like, is he dying on like 4-2 or 4-3 this game? Like, that was the discussions. Like, the outliers are the people who are like, oh, I bet you he sees his items. Like, he's gonna get all his items.
Yeah, I wagered that he would see his items. I
Those
lost.
He
died at 4-3,
and I was just like, oh god, this must be so bad.
Oh man. Either way, entertaining as usual. And that brings us to our top 32 heading into this weekend. Usually, so this transitions to our rankings portion of the show. So we start off with who didn't make it, and this list is the most competitive we have ever seen. I think we have a huge range of ballots, and this is also the most amount of judges we ever had to start off a season that wasn't for our final set rankings. We have 16 ballots. Usually Bryce and I are settled for like 10 to 11, but we have 50% more. That is huge. And as a result, a wide range of opinions. And the closest we've ever seen to specifically 13th to 23rd. It's actually so close between 10 players. And then the couple ballots finally kind of solidified those. Without further ado, let's go ahead and reveal the snub. Oh, what's up?
Sorry, while you're revealing, can I make like a macro point about it before we get into the individuals on the snub list?
Go ahead.
Because I just think it's really interesting, because I never thought about this when we were starting to do the power rankings, but when you really get down to it, the number of people getting votes and how competitive this is a great litmus test for the increasing strength of play on the server. There's a lot of people who make stupid comments like, well, the server hasn't gotten better, like it's just what it was. These are people who are not watching the up-and-comers. The reason there are so many votes is because no one can watch all these players. There's too many people playing TFT. Some of them don't stream. We cannot all even come close to actually truly watching and having a real valid opinion about how good or bad someone is. And people lie about that all the time in TFT, but that's just the reality. And so what's going on in these votes is there's a lot more good players on the server, and certain people are watching certain people, know they're good, and are giving them votes. So I just think it's really interesting to reflect on like where we're at, and this is a great way of showing that like it is getting harder. It's harder to put people on the snub list because there's more people who are good, and it's harder to do the votes as well.
All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and reveal the second half of the people that got snubbed first from the bottom up. So we had Forsen Smurf account, who is not Forsen, despite what people might think. It's Weird TFT, not the adjective weird. His username is weird. Also, his username on Ladder is Pray to RNG Jesus. You might have seen him before. And then we have Philip, Degree, XB Mots, Solus, Little Top, Noster, Upset Max, and Robovan Kenobi. All these people got votes. And I kind of want to use this opportunity to just kind of let people highlight stuff. So who wants to be the one that talks about Philip? Because I know he's a close boy of yours. Who wants to go? Milala or Wasian?
I can go. Yeah, so Philip's like one of our boys. I feel like he's like I feel like me and Wasian have like taken him under our wing. He's like our baby. And like
why are you guys laughing?
They just called him his baby. I mean, that's funny.
But like a baby, I don't know, maybe like a baby under a wing. I mean, he's turning red as if it's actually true. Like
it's like
it's worth noting, by the way, you two and then Rainplosion. That's who gave votes to Philip.
Oh, Rainplosion.
And she gave him the most. You guys both gave him 2 points. Rain gave him 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Philip's really good. Like he had really good or he was like pretty bad in set 8. But like he started talking to us. No ego, but like, and then in set 9 he had like pretty decent results. I think he made like final lobby twice, and like he had a pretty decent regionals run. I think he's just like getting better every set, so it's just like, I guess, like kind of showcasing players that are just like getting better.
Yeah. What do you think is specifically his strength as a player? Like how, like Wasian, what would you say is something that he does well? Maybe not necessarily like, better than everybody, but something that I think is a strength.
I think he like is good at like balancing like the lines he plays. Like he doesn't lean too heavily into one line. And I think he's also like very willing to like play around what the lobby is playing. Like if he's like contested, like I think he's willing to pivot, and I feel like that's actually like quite important, especially in tournament. And I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to do that. And I feel like
Sorry, go for it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
oh,
off.
I was gonna say I think he just has like good like his fundamentals have like improved a lot, and he has like generally like quite like good mastery of like most lines.
I feel like you just described dish soap. Like if you had just been describing the play and had not listed like a name beforehand, does that does that sound right to you? Was that his analog as a player?
Laughing.
Yeah, I mean, but aren't those dish soap strengths? Like, do you guys agree? Like that could have easily just been a description of dish soap's play.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Dissoap's like early game is like quite strong, like probably like stronger than Phillips, but yeah, maybe to like some extent. I mean, I think it's easy to say that we're like ranking Phillip because like he's our friend, but I actually think that's not true at all. Like I've been like a Bala for a long time, and I feel like I've never ranked him. But yeah, I actually think like he made regionals last set, and I feel like he's only improved from then. So I actually have pretty high hopes for him.
Well, he's pretty pissed in chat because apparently you have marked him as a known pivoter now. And people are like, oh, who can I bully off their comp now so I can get it uncontested? Oh, no. Philip has been exposed here on episode 39 of Don't Talk If You Don't Know. Okay, another player that we want to shout out here. We don't talk about all of them because there's just too many. We'd be here all night. Philip is one of them. Bryce, why don't you take another person? Why don't you take another crack at a name that you want to shout out?
I mean, I ranked Souls. There's two people who ranked Souls, me and Dish Soap. And Dish Soap always ranks him because he thinks it's like schmuck insurance. Like always put Solus last. It's kind of like drafting him last in fantasy. There's always worse players to draft last in fantasy than Solus for sure, because he could always just randomly top 8 a tournament. And I think that he does really particularly well in new environments. That's why I ranked him. If you look at his play in the Summit,
I like that.
He was actually one of the best 3 players at Summit. It was a new environment. He understood Viego as a drain tank. Like he had a deeper read on certain parts of the meta, played that really well, and had a huge edge on the patch. And I think the same could be true of this. I don't know because we had ranked before we actually saw the patch played out. I haven't got to watch him play, but this type of a shift I think is good for Solus. He could still go dead last, but there's a chance that he's finding to talk about inefficiency on the patch. He's the type of player who could find efficiency on the patch and do really well as a result.
Yeah, he's also very quick to discover more optimal ways. I mean, a lot of people were trying to play, different ways of Viego back in the day, and he was figuring out how to play it correctly. Okay, Milala. Actually, Milala did Philip. So, Wage, is there another name that you want to shout here of the second half?
Sure. I'll shout out like Weird Force and Smurf account. I feel like he is like by far like the best Yone like Riven type player on the server. I mean, I think pretty much everyone knows that. I didn't rank him, but I think if I redid my battle today, I probably would rank him because I feel like those two comps are so strong, and you could probably actually just play them every game and like do really well in the cup. So I actually do expect him to do really well, and yeah, I think he's like by far like the best Riven Yone player. Whenever I have a question about like positioning or like 3-5 versus 4-1, that kind of thing, like I'll just ask him.
He's climbed. I think he climbed to rank 3 on the server specifically, just playing like these kinds of comps. And if you think it's easy to do that, by all means, be my guest, because it's not. I tried, and you go 8th a lot if you're not careful. You go 8th like a lot. This is a very difficult. If anything, it reminds me a lot of like the way Milk kind of plays. So if you have respect for the way Milk does things, you should kind of be a little bit afraid of this guy. I mean, I don't know if he's as experienced as Milk. We'll see what ends up happening this weekend, but that's really big praise.
It's actually cool if you look at his distribution too, because what he's figured out a way to do, he goes first a lot and he goes 5th a lot. So he's basically figured out how to
optimize low rolls.
How to salvage his low rolls. Like there's a bunch of 8s that we're taking that he just doesn't take, and my guess is he's also probably eking out an extra first somewhere that we wouldn't. Okay. Which is a lot of edge on a line that's really strong. And the fact, and it's, I don't remember the last time there was like flex reroll line like this in 3-cost where it's like there's enough overlap of the items between Riven and Yone, and there's enough overlap of the units because they use the pentakill core and they both play edgelords. So like there's a lot, it's actually like you can do that roll down fairly well and be flexible across it based on what's getting played in the lobby and what your items are and stuff. So it's actually like a more expressive version of like a narrow line, I think, than people will give it credit for.
Yeah, I think there was something in set 8. I want to say around like Zoe Hackers or something like that, where you could do something a little bit more flexible like that. But it's been a while. It's been a minute, at least like a year or so. The person I want to shout out here, there's a lot of things I could talk about all these players, but I want to shout out Robovan. I think that I do think that reroll is going to be a big part of this weekend if you know what you're doing. And I think the shining gem of this patch, I think there's a ton of viable carries and rerolls, but you have to know how to play them. And this dude is a weird, like, you're talking about weird, like, that's an adjective. Robovan does some weird shit. He ends up rerolling a lot of random stuff. So just be on the lookout for him whipping out some of those really crazy stuff that you're not expecting.
Really fast, one more quick point, because I feel like I've been critical of him in the past. A player to keep your eye on is Noster. He was only on 2 ballots, Setsukos and Gubums, which are very interesting ballots to be on, because Noster's been around for a long time. These guys have ranked for a long time. They've literally never ranked Noster before. So they think he's doing something well this set and have noticed it enough to rank him.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so I'll be really curious to see how Noster plays this weekend. It was when I was looking at the ballots that I paused on that one. So I'm excited.
Wait. Soju also rated him. What? Okay, we might have not included that. Either way, he didn't make it, so I think we didn't actually. That might Soju submitted his ballot last, so it probably is possible that there's a missed input. Either way, he put him like towards the bottom, so he would have probably moved up 2 spots here.
Yeah, he would have gotten an extra 2 points from Soju's thing.
Okay, so then that's interesting. That's really interesting. People meme Noster all the time.
Yeah, I just didn't want to miss that.
Okay.
I think it's worth noting going in.
Okay, so it might have been missed input. It might have been Soju, not Goobums, but either way, interesting.
All good
feedback. Okay, let's go ahead and reveal the other people 16 to 23. And at one point, 16 to 23 was separated by 6 points. It was very close. But then as the last couple of ballots came in, there was like a bunch of big votes for people like Appies, DQA, Darth. But none of these players made. They were very, very close. And I think 15 was only 2 points above Appies. We have Appies at 28, DQA, Darth, Kiyun, Kai Wang, Toronto Tokyo, Bruce, and Rain Plosion. Very interesting mix of names. I think a lot of people are not even familiar with some of these people on the list. So the first question is, who is Kai Wang and Bruce to the greater TFT population? There are no names. Does anybody here have either stories or know them at all?
I kind of know Kai Wang. I think he used to play under a different name. I think his name on ladder, like last set, was Liquid Art. I know he's like in the XFSN Saber, I think Evely study group. I'm not too sure. And I played against him in Vegas. I thought he was pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. So so for people who don't know, he was a player that got in through top 32 and had phenomenal ladder results alongside Bruce. And so I think, for example, Robin said he ranked based off of the strength of their ladder qualification. And so he gave them a lot of points.
He always does that.
I mean, he does that, but
Robin's ballot is almost always like the top of the ladder.
I mean, yes, but he does that after he runs out of people to rank. So he's like, okay, here are like 10 people who are a threat, and then here's like 5 people that I think did well on ladder, which I think is totally fine. But I do think it's really interesting. I don't know much about Bruce, but you two have talked about Toronto Tokyo. What's his state going into set 10? Because set 9, he was one of the breakout performers. Wasian, how's Toronto looking these days?
Oh, I watched like a lot of his play like last weekend, and I was actually really impressed. Like his LP, I don't know if it's like that high right now, but he was like really high LP for a bit. And then he had like one day where he lost like 900 LP in like one day. It was actually kind of insane. But no, like I felt like his play like last weekend was like really, really good. Like some people might count him out because he wasn't like top 32, but like if he just like sat at like 1500, like whatever he was, and like didn't play, and like he could, I'm pretty sure he could have made like the day 3 bye. So I feel like that shouldn't really be a point against him that he just like kept playing. But yeah, I was really impressed with this play. I feel like he thinks about the game kind of similarly to me, actually.
Oh, interesting. That's a really high compliment. There you go. Bryce, talking about Kiyun, you hang out in that study group. What's Kiyun up to? Is he serious about TFT? Is he just monkeying around and hanging out and just like kind of taking it casually, hot, cold? Kiyun goes in spurts where he is really dedicated, and then he AFK disappears for 2 weeks. No one knows what happened. Then he shows back up and he climbs again. What form is Kiyun in right now?
I mean, I don't get the impression he's in peak form right now. just based on, like you said. I mean, usually I can tell how engaged Kyun is by how much he's talking in the Discord, because Kyun's not, there's a lot of guys in that Discord who kind of fuck around and like banter about different stuff. Usually when Kyun is talking about stuff, he's like in TFT, and he's usually in the weeds too. Like, he's one of the best posters where he's like doing data deep dives, where he's trying to understand like a certain nuance of the game and he'll ask good questions. And it's really clear that Kyun's like raw horsepower for TFT is in like really high. He's a beast, but he's really inconsistent in his investment. So I don't like, I won't be ranking Kyun unless I feel like he comes back for real for an extended period of time. I think you used to be able to, a lot of the best players, including Kyun, used to be able to plug in and out more easily of the game because the overall quality of play was lower, to everything, kind of the theme of the episode. But it's just harder now. The game is harder. People are playing better. People are paying more attention. They're more efficient in their play. They're making fewer mistakes, and so you really do have to be plugged in, I think, to do well.
I agree. I think it's a succinct analysis. Milala, give me a name on 16 to 23 that you want to shout out.
Yeah, I want to shout out Darth. I feel like Darth's been like super consistent since like ever since he's been playing competitive. Since like set 6. I think like the thing with like the first tourney of like every set, it's like kind of hard to make a list because like people are balancing between like their ladder ranks and like how consistent they've been like in tourneys and previous sets. I don't know how like people usually weigh that. I feel like for me, I usually just weigh like their consistency over the previous sets. I don't know if like I'm alone on this like this perspective, but I feel like ladder has been like it's felt like a little soft.
Oh, interesting. Set. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I feel like just like everyone's like, I think like before, like in set 6, like the top 15 players were like untouchable, like they're just like titans, and now it's just like everyone's around like the same skill. I think outside of like the top 3, like you're not really scared of like really like playing against anyone other than like the big 3. I think.
Who's
your big 3?
My big 3 is Dish, Setsuko, and Wasian.
Yeah.
Say it with a straight face, man. He's right there.
Yeah.
I want to return to that point later because I feel the exact same way.
Okay,
I basically wrote that on Reddit earlier today.
Fair enough.
To a comment on the rankings thread, but we should get to when we get to the rankings.
Okay. Yeah, I think like outside of those 3, it's like the next like 25 players are like pretty much really, really close.
Oh, interesting. Player I want to shout out is Spicy Appies. It's actually one of his best rankings in quite some time, and he either kind of like firmly makes the rankings or he's just like really out of it. And he also is a Riven mate. He loves playing Riven a lot. I expect to come out of that this weekend. And also, if it's a reroll patch, Appies is really excelling when reroll is doing well. So I didn't vote for him. I didn't rate him, but I can see why people did. It was hard because the 16 to 18 range, as you can tell, any of these players could have made it. And quite frankly, all 4 of these players, Spicy Appies, DQA, Darknu, and Kyun, at one point were in the top 15 until more ballots came in. So really interesting stuff overall. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about these player rankings. And so at number 1, very close to unanimous, only a few ballots didn't rank him number 1, is Dish Soap, a clear number 1. And actually, funny enough, this has actually been the first time in a while, Bryce, we've had a clear number 1. Before, it was always like Setsuko or Dish Soap. At the end of the rankings, it was Setsuko and Wasian. It was like really, really close 1-2. But this one's a clear number 1 for us. And a clear number 2 in Setsuko as well. But for the first time ever, funny that he rated us, Prestivan makes the top 3, narrowly edging out Wasian by a single point. And now has joined the upper echelon and broken into tier 1. That's right, Prestivan. Top 3. What the first reaction to that, Bryce? You talk about the meme of the prophecy, but his improvement is electric right now.
It is. It's funny that you say funny that he rated us. He knew, man. He fucking knew that he was top 3. He was like, I want to listen to this. They're gonna have to say nice things about me this time, surely. And yeah, we do have to say nice things about P-God. We've been singing his praises for a little while. I think that there was a period of time where it felt like there weren't that many people who were saying out loud that P-God was not a meme and was actually going to TFT and that he was improving fairly dramatically over set. There were a few people who have worked as hard on their TFT over the course of the last year as P-God has. It's been really impressive to see his diligence up close. I've like really enjoyed being in the server, and a lot of that has been seeing kind of the way in which P-God approaches TFT, thinks about it, what types of questions he asks, what type of advice he gives, because he does improve fairly steadily. So I don't have him here, I agree with Milala. I think that the true top 3 in an A is Wasian, Setsuko, and just Open. Until I see something materially different, I am going to be putting just those people in my top 3, no matter how I perceive their form. Like Setsuko couldn't be lower, and I'm not putting him lower than 3rd, right? And so I don't think Pigod's in that tier yet for me, but I think he is a beast.
Okay, Wasian, your first reactions so when you look at this with Precedent, nearly edging out, but also kind of how everything shook out.
Well, I feel like for a long time I've thought of Precedent like really highly. Like I feel like I was ranking him like top 5 when like he was like, I don't know, like in like the 10 to 15 range on the ballot. So I mean, I'm not really sure like why people's opinions of him suddenly changed, but I've always thought of him as like a top 5-ish like player.
Wow.
I guess he's doing like really well in ladder, so that probably definitely helps a lot with people's opinions.
I think hitting rank 1 time is impressive, right? That gets you like attention and notoriety. And Precedent did it multiple times. And when he did multiple times, he was kind of memeing a little bit, right? It almost felt like he was just sticking it to non-Tom. Now it's been 3 sets, and it's kind of weird if Precedent's not in the top 5, pushing top 1. And I think that's where the expectations happened. There was a flippening. At one point, once upon a time, it was K3 Soju who was calling him little bro. Nah, don't worry, big bro's got this. Sit down, little gup, right? You had the Soju kind of like, sitting down Precedent, and Soju was the one that was on top. Now it's like, you know who Soju's asking for help to get downloads on the patch? He literally ends his stream and adds Precedent and makes him sit in the call and talks him through the metagame because, well, 1, Milk's not doing this set, but but 2, because Precedent is hyper consistent now, and Soju is now taking the spark notes from Precedent. What a reversal of results,
what would be really fun? Can someone in chat take this upon themselves? Go back to the arc of the fantasy drafts that have happened auction style in DTIYDK and then just do a chart of how much Pigod was drafted for and how much Soju was drafted for, because probably the early drafts Pigod's undrafted, and you'll start to see when he gets drafted and when the amounts close, when Pigod passes him, and then in with tonight's draft where Pigod's going to go for quite a bit more money, I would imagine. It'll be really funny tweet. Please, someone do this and tweet it at us at the show. We will retweet it for sure.
All right. So Milala, you talk about like that top 3. So Bryce, you said you wanted to kind of return to this point specifically. So why don't we address it right here?
I think that being in the tier 1A is not something that you can earn over a short period of time. I felt really strongly about this when replay was coming up, and it's like, look, he is very clearly a beast, and he's very clearly the best player like on this set. But does that mean that translates indefinitely? There's a lot of people who've been the best player at a set. Rainplosion was the best player at set 7. Goobams was the best player at set 6, so on and so forth. And the ability to do that, play at that level for over multiple sets, 3+ sets, right, I think is a really challenging thing to do. And I think the only people who had basically earned that level for me for a long time was Setsuko and Dish Soap. And I don't know exactly when the switch flipped for me on Wasian, but at this point in time, I think Wasian is in that tier. I think he has earned. I think he's played and earned his way into the tier 1A tier, and I will rank those 3 in my top 3 every tournament this set. Maybe someone breaks into it at the end of the set. Maybe it's Pigod, right? But I have that as a very clear. Those are the people that are gapping the server for me.
Goobams was a good point. He wasn't replay wasn't the clear best player in set 8 because Setsuko had an outrageous set 8.
You're right. That's fair. I think Setsuko probably was the better player, but it's at least a conversation, which being in the conversation for how good Setsuko was at the time, like, come on, man. He played some fucking incredible TFT. Like, let's not argue the semantics here. Replay was a fucking beast at set 8.
He was. Those 2 were the clear top 2. And I think what ended up happening was Wasian, I don't think people remember, but he was 3rd and then got 2nd in set 9. So I think that's kind of where that flipping happened. Consistency over an entire year.
Yes.
And again, Wasian hasn't talked at all. We're just talking around him as if he's not in the room.
It's fun to set him up and then let him go.
It's important to note that set 7 towards the latter half is when Wasian first started playing TFT competitively. So it's really his rookie and sophomore seasons to be able to post back-to-back like this, like his first full seasons, which is particularly why he's impressive. It's the rate of improvement relative to time invested. I think that's also what's impressive about Precedent as well. He's been playing since set 5. Okay, the next tier, we call this the contenders tier.
Wait, don't we have to ask Wasian about himself? I want to know.
Oh yeah,
if he
sure. Wasian,
I want to know if he agrees with this.
Yes, do you agree?
I mean, I actually do agree, but I feel like I like in lower stress, lower stakes tournaments, like I kind of expect myself to do worse than like Cisco or Ditch. So I don't know. I almost have something where it's like the lower the stakes, like the scarier it is for me. Like if I was playing day one, like I would be terrified because it's like I don't know, like if you don't do that great in regionals, it's like okay, like that's understandable. Like it's a bunch of great players, but then if you go like day one, I feel like it's like almost like embarrassing. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but
Interesting.
yeah, I do kind of feel like I am in that tier, but I don't know. Maybe time will tell.
Yeah, you have to continue to earn it. I think it's something that's easily lost. I think that's a really difficult. I think we give credit to enough to Disturb and Sasuke where if they have a bad tournament or two, we'll probably let them shake it off. But no, not to put like pressure on you, but like it's something that you can appreciate now. But you know, if you're not able to keep the results, I think people are will probably start to look for other names as well. So we'll see. So keep it up. You're doing great. Okay, next tier is I just say they're the yappers, the contenders. Replay, Goobum, Spencer, and Robin very clearly in this tier 2. So let's do a quick exercise. Let's cut one, and we'll say sponsor one or sign one. We sign one as if like we think that they are worth, like if you were like an org, you're trying to sign the money. My money's on this guy. Cut one, sign one from these 4 players. From replay, Goobum, Spencer, Robin, just choose to do one, cut one as if like they don't belong in this tier, or you have to, right? Because you have to eliminate one. Another is like endorsement. I put my money on this guy, sign one. I'll go first. So my first is I'm gonna say sign replay. I think this guy is a tournament beast. I think in particular, I think he really shows up on tournament day. And he's started to turn a new leaf, which is he's taking ladder more seriously now. And I think that was one of the only things you could really fault him on. His tournament performance is hyper consistent. And he once again made it to the regionals final lobby and was just a few points making it from Worlds in set 9. People are really not paying attention to that because of the spotlight that Wasian, Setsugo, and some of the other people, right? Like Toronto Tokyo was doing really great for North America. So there's kind of like all these underdog stories. I think people really underrate him. The person I have to cut is Robin. I'm not entirely sure where Robin is on his TFT journey. Half influencer, half serious. But at the same time, Robin always shows up to tournaments. There's like an adage to that. But I do think that he could easily kind of get into that Kiyun mode where it's like, hey, if you take it a little bit too lax, there's more and more people coming in and taking that top 8 consistency spot. I do have belief that Robin is very good and can show up, but the last set with some of the shakiest results, he barely made the final 15.
And shakiest play. It's not just the results. He played worse. And he had totally the wrong read going to regionals. That it was so clear that he had the wrong read going to regionals, and he just couldn't figure it out.
Milala, why don't you go up next?
Yeah, sure. I guess the player I would probably sponsor is Goobums. I actually have like a lot of respect for Goobums. I think he's like of like the older players, probably like the player I respect the most. I think like usually just when I like watch his stream, he's usually like I feel like I really respect the way he thinks about the game. It's like
the fact that Goobums is one of the older players is like
yeah, weird.
Fuck. Oh my God. And also, weird. I feel so old. Sorry, keep going.
But I feel like he actually, I feel like he is though, like compared to like some of the names on the list. Yeah, I just like the way he like thinks about the game. I feel like it's pretty different and it's like pretty vocal about the way he thinks about it. So it's like pretty easy to learn from his stream when I watch. I guess the player I would also have to cut is Robin. I feel like it was a little shaky last set. But the thing with like these tournaments that are on like short patches is that you have to have like the correct meta read and you have to be consistent with your read. Like you have to like all in that your read is correct. Because like if you go into like your like the first day of tourney and you're like unsure about what you want to play, you're gonna lose. Just because like you're like it's better to be like confident what you're doing than like being here and not there with your decisions. So I feel like that's what's really important when a tournament comes out on a new patch. I feel like Robin usually doesn't come up with like the best read.
Okay.
So yeah,
I think that's totally fair. Wasian.
I'm gonna sign replay as well. I feel like this patch is like very suited to him. Like I feel like at Worlds, like a big part of his edge was like there's like 2 or 3 like 4-cost comps. It's like Ox Bells, Jhin, Infinity Team, Samira. And I feel like he was really, really good at like optimizing like the itemizations in those comps. And I feel like with the item changes, like he's gonna be like looking at the stats and like he's gonna be really good at like optimizing the items in those and like TF and like Pentakill. I also feel like study group is like a really big advantage on like a patch where there's not like too much time to prepare. And I know that he talks about like T-Lides and like DP. So I feel like that's gonna be like a big advantage for him. And then I guess the person that I'll cut is like Spencer. I mean, I know he performed like really insanely on the last patch, but I mean, they're 2 super different patches. I haven't been around that long. Like I know Spencer used to be like a beast and like people have like a lot of respect for him, but I haven't really seen him do like that many things in tournament. And I don't know, like in my eyes, hitting rank 1 for like 1 patch, like even if he was like the best player at that patch, I don't think it like means as much to me as like very consistent performance over like multiple sets.
I like it. It's like respectful disrespect. I like it. Bryce, you're up next.
I mean, I would buy replay on this list too, but I'm gonna buy Spencer instead because I feel like multiple people, we've already done a lot of I mean, he's really good. I think he's underrated. I think that he's, if I'm doing my list, like him and P-God are very clearly like, are they gonna get into that tier 1A? Like replay in tournaments is he locks in and he plays on a totally different level and it's fun to watch. But I actually would buy Spencer. Like if I'm gonna, if I'm not able to buy replay out of those 3, because I totally get where you're coming from on him, Wasian, but I think he was, we talk about him this way for a reason. He was insanely good at TFT when he played, and I don't remember the last time that Spencer played TFT, right? It's been a really long time since he cared enough to even try to get rank 1 or play enough games to get this good. The wildcards, I don't know how much he's playing this patch, but he is a pedigree of player that when he is investing, I have no doubt that he could be an absolute animal at this patch. It's not like he's only capable of being good on the 1 patch. So yeah, and if anything, I think he probably gets better from what historically he was good at. He was probably the second best loss streak player behind Milk when he played for real. And Lost Streak was really hard to navigate last patch in the Open 4. Like, yeah, he's comfortable playing Open 4, but like, what a shit show. Like, 4 people playing Open 4 and streaks being broken, and that whole dynamic of a lobby is very different. He's used to being one of, like, always being lower with other people having more HP and trading his resources and using that for spring shot boards. And I think that it seems like the new meta actually will play well to that when you can do it with control, which he can. So we'll see. If he gets into shape, I think Spencer could be an animal this patch and this whole set, quite frankly.
Nice. Okay. You didn't say you want to cut anybody, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
It's pretty clearly Robin.
Okay. Let's not turn this into a Robin dumping ground.
I don't want to. I love Robin.
Yeah, we love Robin.
The reality is he just isn't as invested, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
No one should argue against that. He's living his life. He's being happy. He's still really good at TFT. He's just not. His play was never flashy, but it was clean, and now it's neither flashy nor clean, and that is a problem.
I will say.
If you talk to Robin right now, if Robin were on the show, I would say this to his face, and he would agree.
I would say one thing is that Robin is putting a lot of effort into growing his stream and doing a lot of great job with that. He's also applying to try to be strategy game of the year. I tell people we should vote for him because one, he'll probably put effort into campaigning, unlike others, and two, he'll actually show up to the awards, unlike some others. So yeah, I mean, he got nominated for Rookie of the Year for Esports Awards. He flew out. He showed up. Robin's the guy that shows up. Hopefully he shows up for this tournament. Don't have that much time because we want to go into the fantasy draft. So out of the remainders of Pocky Gum, Milala here at 10, Soju, T-Lights, Casper, Wilf, and Ripple. Who do you think has the highest likelihood to have a breakout performance? I do want to say 2 comments. One, this is the first time that we've had Wilf on the list, and this is known as Yoon Wilf. He's a guy who's been grinding nonstop. He made it to LCQ before, so it's not like he doesn't have tournament experience. So there's that. And 2, everyone below T-Lides was at one point not on this list, just a reminder. So it was like they barely got in at the very last second, but at the same time, they are notable players in their own right. Actually, before we do that too, Milala, do you agree with yourself here at 10th, by the way? I guess we skipped over that note. What do you think?
I rate myself a little higher. I rank myself 7th. I don't know. I guess I always thought like on the power rankings I was always like a little underrated, just like
Yep.
even like before Vegas. I don't know how much weight Vegas actually has on this power ranking. I feel like even if I didn't win Vegas, I'd probably be like around the same spot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
just the
fair,
range.
probably a little higher. Okay, got it. Okay, and now back over to you, Milala. Who out of this player, the list from Baki down to Ripple, has the highest chance of breaking out? Is it you?
For me, it's like I sort of like don't have like the chip on my shoulder anymore. I feel like I've like like I feel like happy with my win. Like I feel like I've proven myself as. I feel like I don't have that much more to prove. I'm just playing for like my drive and my competition. The player that I want to like shout out is probably Ripple Overdrive. I feel like that guy has like been a beast for the past 3 sets, and like this guy's actually underrated every tourney and actually like super underrated every power ranking. I think he's gonna be really good going into day 3.
Okay. I think I like that shout out. Wasian.
Yeah, I'll shout out Unwolf. I wasn't like he was like rank 1 a lot, and like I didn't rank him even though he was rank 1, but actually like I've been playing against him a lot recently, and like I've been watching people play against him, and like I think like the fact that he was like playing well and like making good decisions, and like I was noticing it, like that means more to me than like him being like rank 1. So I was actually pretty impressed with his like ladder play. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll say that I wouldn't be surprised if he had a breakout set.
Great. Bryce.
I'll take T-Lides. You know, I haven't gotten to watch a ton of his play, but when I have watched, I think it showed a lot of promise, and I think he has been putting on the type of consistent performances that you often see before the breakout, right? Like you kind of do well at a bunch of stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, right? I think that was true for Milala and Wasian actually. So yeah, I don't know. I think he'll be good this weekend. We'll see.
Okay. My comments on Casper for the same reasons as Roby. Casper's also kind of wild, and also Casper knows a lot of tech. And I think Casper is a player that people are ranking in this like 12 to 15 range a lot out of respect, but his ceiling is actually a lot higher. If you actually look at his set 9, he actually had a great set 9, and is arguably like should be like where Robin is, I think, actually, if you like evaluate based off the trajectory of his recent results. So I think Casper is really underrated. And also, I think
averaged a 4.04 across all tournament games in set 9, which is pretty fucking good.
it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. I mean, if you enter the 3s, you're already like elite, so it's good.
Yeah.
And so it's also reroll patch, man. I mean, Casper's got to be dealing some kind of terrible tech somewhere, right? I mean, if there's anyone's gonna bust out like a Mosher Vi or something like that, it'd probably be him. We'll see. This guy's an absolute madman, so I'm loving it. Okay, we do have Agree coming up here. Just out of interest of time, I think I'm going to try to do just the interesting ones because I don't want to go too long because we do have the fantasy draft. Let's go ahead and just do them very quickly. One of them, we'll start off with 13.24b was the best holiday patch yet in TFT's history. People are talking about how it was a terrible patch, but in the end, people are saying it's actually a pretty good holiday patch. People say it's actually a good patch, but I kind of want a little... what do we think? Bryce?
I agree. I think this patch... I think there are not. I don't think there's a single patch in the history of TFT that we could play for a month and not yap about, right? I just don't trust this community because what happens is no matter what the problem is, people just like fixate on it and then magnify it, and we do a terrible job of like coming up with like the actual relative comparison. Like when Goobums will tell Mort that something is like the most groundbreaking bug in the history of TFT. It's like, come on, man. Like, it's not even in the top 25. Kiss my ass, right? And I feel like that happens about patches too. So I feel like this patch was not that bad. Were there problems? Of course there were problems. True damage stat was overpowered. I agree, right? There was too much open forting. I agree. But I don't think that open fort is like terrible for TFT. And I think that overall, as far as outlier things go, there was a lot of room to cook that patch. There was a lot of room to outplay your opponents. There was like some amount of diversity to the meta, especially for an really early set patch. This was pretty damn good, you guys. Come on.
Yep. Wasian, what do you think?
I mean, I'll disagree. I actually liked, I think the last holiday patch was like the Jax Yumi patch,
Yeah.
I think. And I feel like at like a low elo kind of level, like I feel like it was really bad, but I feel like at a challenger level, like I don't even feel like it was like that bad. Like I actually kind of like that patch.
Hot takes. Interesting. Oh, he refuses to elaborate. Nice. Okay. Well, there it is. Milala, what do you think?
I would disagree too. I actually agree with Wasian that the Yumi Jax patch was better. Because like at the end of the Yumi Jax patch, like a lot of people were actually playing like a bunch of Talia and a bunch of like Samira. But like playing 13.24Bs, like you're legit like pulling your hairs when you lose a 50-50 lose streak, and then you're pulling your hairs when you get 10-0'd by RE Sentinels. So it's just I feel like it's worse than like Yumi Jax, because I feel like in the Yumi Jax patch, if you did play around like the Talia and like the Samira and stuff, which is like what the patch at the end came to be about, it was actually like a lot more thinking and stuff.
But then aren't you evaluating the patch like based on purely the ending meta state and not the overall patch? Like we just played a month of TFT,
I mean,
and you're basically saying that.
You're right, Bryce, but like the sentiment is, I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Like, sometimes the meta evolves in like at the very, and maybe it would have gotten worse from there. This is part of the reality. Like you have a patch for a month, up down in terms of what's being played and what's good into what, and that's part of what makes it so interesting when we have longer patches.
Yeah.
Maybe the ending of that patch is better, but there's for me the feel of playing the entirety of the patch. There's no way.
Chad agrees for the most part, 80-20 splits. I agree. I don't think it's actually as clear of a winner compared to... I actually do agree with these guys. I think the last patch was underrated, or the last holiday patch, because we actually saw a meta evolution in a really cool way in that patch. And this ended up kind of devolving. It ended up becoming more degen and degen. So I think the ending note, and to what you're saying, Bryce, I think people remember how it ends a lot more than maybe how like the middle kind of played out. Because the beginning of the middle of this patch was actually kind of cool. With the 80 flex stuff. Okay, and then another one. The economy changes for the 14.1 patch is a good change and healthy for the game. There's been some players coming out of the woodworks and saying that they actually they were skeptical about the streak changes, but they actually really like it. I think it's even healthy. I've seen some people say those. Wasianiverson, what do you think?
I'm like a sort of agree. Like I think they need to like bring back 2 streaks. Because, like, I feel like 2 streaks were, like, really good for the game. Like, your streak gets snapped, like, okay, like, in Stage 2, like, okay, now we have, like, something to play for. But I feel like, overall, like, streak in Stage 2, like, mattered too much. Like, it's really not that in your control, at the end of the day. Like, whether you 5 loss, whether you 5 win, especially on that, like, 2-6 round, it's just, like, who do I fight? Which it's kind of dumb that, like, who do I fight just has, like, insane, like repercussions on your gold for the rest of the game. So, like, I think like 5 streak needed to be less impactful. I think this is like a good way of doing it, but yeah, bring back 2 streaks.
All right. Milala?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I agree. I don't think I've played enough games on the patch to really feel it out. I think like the issue with the last patch was just like the open for and stuff, but yeah, I feel like the way they changed it makes it like you just have to play for strongest board more often than not, and I feel like it's pretty good for the game.
So you're a slight agree? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bryce, what do you think?
So I kind of have a like split answer. I think I disagree with respect to set 10, but I think I agree overall for TFT. And the reason why is because of the headliner mechanic. I think that what this has done is it is by putting less gold in the game, it's exacerbated the gap in impact is too high when you high roll, because with chosen breakpoints, the ability to fast 8 and hit a 4-cost headliner early and stabilize and go 9 is such a huge advantage to be able to do that. And the swing of result of game based on parts of the game early on that you don't actually have really any agency over, right? Like you can't control if you high roll Stage 2. Like you can play well when you high roll and figure it out and try to figure out when you don't, but it just feels like early high roll is like way too rewarding with headliner mechanic. And watching the play today, it feels like when you low roll, it used to be because there was too much gold in the game, you could at least have control over it. You could like, hey, I'm going to lose streak and I'm going to build up enough econ and I'm going to fast 8 and I can go for one of the fast 8 lines that can rubber band the game out and try to play that way. But it feels like there's actually a lot less room to play that way on this patch. So just like, did you hit early and maintain HP and just stomp the lobby? It feels kind of unfair to me. So I don't like the changes with headliner in the game. If headliner was in the game, I think I would like to change. I think there was too much gold in the game overall.
Okay. Chat slightly disagrees. 55-45 split. Seems like more people as they're voting actually are putting a couple of final disagree votes. I think people just don't want things taken away. I think my general read is players don't like less things, right? They just want more if they can take it. It just feels bad to lose it. And also it feels bad to be poor, both in real life and in TFT, so I can understand it. I do think that it's a step in the right direction, a big step in the right direction. I'm glad that they're actually willing to be radical about something like this. This is actually one of the biggest changes they've made to TFT in a long time, short of just like a set rotation. So I'm really curious on where it goes. I do think that 2Street should come back though.
And
My God, I feel so broke sometimes. Oh man.
I loved Mort's tweet from today where he was like, look, we don't have mid-sets anymore. It used to be a really natural point to like take some of these bigger swings, but we don't have them anymore. And it's good game design for us to keep taking some of these swings.
Agreed.
So I we'll always love TFT game devs for taking these shots, and it's way too early to call is the reality of this. We're just guessing.
All right. Sounds good. That was a good session, boys. All right. And with that, let's go ahead and do our fantasy draft, which is really fun. Before we do, though,
immediately shitting grin on his face.
Wasianiverson legit sat up in his chair as soon as fantasy draft came out of
Yeah.
just for context, Wasian's never really been able to actually do fantasy because we keep inviting him to like the end of set things or like review stuff. So first time he actually get to do fantasy draft, and apparently him and Milala conspired against me and Bryce to try to get an edge on us. So
Dan,
we'll see.
We got these guys. These guys think so. They think they got this. They do not have this. Also, I would like it. Oh, here we go. Okay, go.
Yeah, real quick, just to hold ourselves accountable, we did do a fantasy draft for Vegas Open, and we tallied it. And Bryce, you actually almost won. The only thing is you had too many people day one. That was the big problem because Casanova had consistent results. Anybody that's in the big red day one, anybody that was in the soft red is they made it to day two. And then people in the blue were top 32. So they made it to the final round, and then they had to do the top two cut. And then Bryce got one person in the final lobby. So unfortunately, due to consistency, Casanova ended up edging you, Bryce. But hey, you got second in the draft, and you thought I went dead last, by the way.
Hey, you got beat by Chat.
I got beat by Chat. Chat drafted Dissoap and Solus, and I got wrecked.
I liked my team. I can't. I mean, Setsuko. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah,
man?
that was
But,
unfortunate. I can't believe
if
Setsuko went
Setsuko
out
plays
day
even
one.
decently, then I win.
Then you win.
right?
Yeah, then you win. That's right. So unfortunate, but hey, a new draft is upon us. Let's go ahead and get to it. So once more, Bryce, as is tradition, as I get set up, can you please explain how fantasy works for people who are watching it for the first time?
Everyone has $100. We're going to bid on our players. We all bid on 5 total players. So the average player team will be worth $20 if you're spending all your money, but obviously not all players are created equal. We'll take turns nominating. Nomination doesn't give you any advantage. It's just you pick who we're bidding on at that particular point in time. There's some strategy to it, but anyone can bid on any player regardless of who has been nominated. And that's it. And so there's 64 players. We're only drafting 20.
Yes, and I'm actually realizing that I'm missing 2 names at the bottom, so I'm going to eliminate them. And please, someone who is a really good detective, please investigate who I'm missing, because I have Ashmu and DK twice for whatever reason. So I apologize. Okay, without further ado, I am going to roll a random number. And Milala, you're up first.
All right. Let's just start hard. I'll go press event for 20.
Pressed event for $20.
21.
All right, I'll go 25.
I'll go 30.
31.
Dude, are we supposed to do dude? That was you.
Yeah, what happened? You guys are bidding each other up. The strategy was to bid us up.
Oh my god, it's already over, man.
31. Okay, 31 pressed event to Wasian. Going once. Going twice. Sold. Wasianiverson. Big bet on precedent for $31. I wonder what precedent thinks about that.
Well, Preston was actually like half of my draft strategy, but I didn't want to talk him up too much because then I thought other people would start bidding for him.
Whoa, half your draft strategy? Dude, you have 5 player slots.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, okay. I'm up next. Let me go ahead and cross press event off the list. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Milala or 10.
You're not buying yourself.
You're not buying yourself for $10, Milala?
Okay, I'll go 11.
For 11. Okay, that his hesitancy, Bryce, has made me a little.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's fair. I feel like he should go higher, but the way he's laughing is like,
yeah.
well, are you not playing at all? How bad are you right now?
Yeah.
I'm like 1400 right now.
You rated yourself 7th.
I'm going 12. I'm going 12.
Yeah, are you just trying to bully us into bidding less for you? Like, if here's what I'll say, Milala. My rule is usually that I try to make, if someone wants to get themselves, I'll let them get themselves for a fair price.
Yes, fair price.
So I don't want, like, I feel like you should be worth a lot more than this, but if you don't, then, be honest about it, and then, okay.
I can, but if I reveal that I'm just like, acting it up, then my strategy is over.
Oh, well, if that's your strategy, you use your gamesmanship on other players, but on yourself, I want you to get yourself for a fair price if you want. I'm not trying to like bid you up to be an asshole, but like I would have bid 15 immediately on this. Like, aren't you worth like right around 20? Isn't that like fair price for you?
Yeah, I would bet myself around 20.
Okay, so then there you go. Okay, so then let's go up to 20 and then make a bid and like let's make this reasonable here.
Okay, I'll go 20. I'll go 20.
Okay. I think that's fair from where I'm sitting.
Okay.
Do you guys agree, or do you think it should be worth more than that?
I'm down to lock it in. Milala for 20.
Wait, do you think that was a steal, Milala, for 20?
I think like less than 20 is for sure a steal, but I think 20 is like actually pretty fair.
Okay, that sounds fair.
-8. Yeah.
Oh, that was interesting. Normally we just kind of do the thing.
Wow, Bryce bullied him into losing $8.
No, I didn't want to be mean about it, but I was so confused. I was like, do you think you're gonna what?
The reverse conspiring. I like it. All right,
This is a real draft.
Bryce, you're up next.
I will put up DQA for $5.
Oh, I'll take DQA for 6. Oh, DQA for 6? Going to me? Going once?
I bid 7.
Okay. I'll go 8. 8 on DQA.
9.
10. 10 big ones on DQA. I'm missing Setsuko. Oh my god. All right.
Don't worry, we wouldn't have missed him. That's the good news. There's no world in which we would have missed him.
And Robovan. Thank you. Thank you, chat. I think I missed it on the R and the S's here. Like, yeah.
We're at 10 right now?
Yep, 10 for DQA.
11.
Hmm. Wow.
Pass, but I don't feel good about it.
Oh, okay. I kind of
Listen,
thought you wanted to go DQA a lot.
I do. Did you not want it? Did you not want him on your team?
I'm lukewarm on it because
See, Milala, you might get too close to the fire. I do want DQA. I actually really do. I think it's.
I knew you wanted him more than anything.
It's a decent chance it's the Zoomer patch, and he hasn't played up to his peak form this set, but he's played better this set. He's played more this set. I think he's an underrated player.
I just think this guy hits Twin Terror more often than usual. So
that's what everyone always says about DQA. Yeah. Literally, there's never been a period of time where DQA
this guy's a hitter.
Low. I don't know. Like, oh, he did this. He hit this way or that way. It's like, okay, but at a certain point, you guys.
Okay. All right. Weijin.
I'll nominate Soju for 10.
Whoa. Soju for $10.
He's literally going with Soju's fantasy draft strategy. He just goes for the boys. He's just gonna. He's not even gonna
drafting President.
He's not even gonna give himself. He's gonna go Phoenix. He's gonna go Kiyun. He's gonna go Setsuko, and that's his draft.
Yeah. Precedent and Soju. Got it. Pass. All right. Bryce, Milala.
It's Soju for 10 right now?
Yeah, Soju for 10. Soju for 10 going once.
Yeah, I'm out.
Going twice. Oh my god. K3 Soju. Going for 10 whole bucks. Not even a third of the value of Pressed Event. Put it out there. Okay, next player up, Milala.
I'll go Goobums for 20.
Goobums for 20. 21.
22.
I'll go 25.
26. Goobums for 26.
I'll go 27.
28.
$29.
30.
Mm. 31.
32.
Bryce, this is the most intense draft ever.
These guys are locked the fuck in.
They're
You know, normally
normally
I feel like I have to like explain the rules, or I've got Solus spending $90 on himself, or like someone gets the in and they've got fucking $36 left and they don't understand why that's bad. These guys had fucking draft strategy. They're playing mind games. They're not saying a fucking word. They even didn't talk about players honestly earlier because they were like wanted to words, right? We gotta next time you guys are on the show, we're doing the draft first and then we're gonna do the rankings after, because you guys basically didn't want to talk for the rankings portion.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of got
these guys are like not wanting to leak the tech.
I was trying to like say like shout out a player just to kind of leave it a little more open ended. Okay,
I love it.
32. I'm out. Bryce,
I'm out.
Okay. Goobums to Milala for 32. How do you feel about that, Milala? You feel like you got good value?
Yeah, I believe in Goobums. Yeah.
Okay, you guys, this is actually fun. Next time we have you guys on, seriously, we'll draft first and then we'll talk about the rankings after. That way everyone can have their fucking stuff. Because I feel like I shared stuff that I now regret sharing. So next time I want blank slate when we draft, and then we'll use the draft to talk about the players. We'll talk about everybody who gets drafted.
All right, so I'm up next. I'll go Spencer for 15. Spencer for 15.
Bryce, I thought you said that you would sign Spencer.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah,
Going once.
I'm in everything I said. Yeah.
Going twice. Oh, man. I got Spencer for 15. Okay. I thought that was fair value to put him at 15 to start off.
I don't think it's unfair.
Wow.
He just wasn't on my draft list. Like,
I get it. I get it.
It's too early for me to like. If there's a world which I get Spencer, but it's later in the draft. It's not now.
Yeah. I think you understand my position better of why.
Totally.
Okay.
I mean, wasn't he ranked like 7th overall on the thing? Like $15 val to like you know DQA wasn't even ranked and you got him for 12. So I don't think Spencer's value is unfair.
Okay, Bryce, you're up next.
Casper for $1.
Casper for a single dollar. I mean, I'm not going to give it a single dollar, $2.
Wait, did you bid 2?
Yeah, I bet $2. Casper for $2. Casper for $2 going once? Why you guys are typing -2?
I'll bid 3.
uh 4. $4 for Casper. Like his average placement, 4. It was like almost a clean 4. Casper for 4 going once.
5.
Uh, 6.
Dude, chat just
They're just keeping
Just
track of the
minus
value.
7.
Oh man. Why are you so hesitant, man? It's so interesting. What's this strat? Probably load up my team so that I have less spots. Asper for 7, so I have to go 8. Asper for 8, that puts me at 65. Okay, 8.
9.
Okay, Casper's got to at least be worth as much as Surgery. I'll go 10.
Definitely peeping.
There's no way Casper is worth less than Soju. I think they're at least equal minimum. Casper for 10, going once. Going twice.
11.
Uh, 12. Casper for 12, going once. Going twice. All right. Sold to me. Casper Wu, $12. All right. Brazen, you're up next.
I'll nominate Dish Soap for 25.
30.
35.
6.
37.
40.
41. You...
42.
Poof. 42. Milala's all inning. He's basically all inning at this point. Oh.
I mean, at this point, he might as well.
You might as well, yeah. So you
Unless this is another strategy for me to lose some more dollars.
We talked about this one beforehand.
What? Okay, what you guys just on the side. All right. Bryce, are you in or out?
We're at 42 right now?
Yeah, 42.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
I think I'm out. I'm out. It's up to you.
It's up to you.
All right. Dish Soap for 42. Going once.
44.
If you say 46, Bryce, it's yours.
If I say 45, it's mine. He can't bid 46. Oh, well, yeah, he can.
You can. You have to say 46.
Okay. So, yeah, 45.
Oh, okay. Milala, are you all in? You might as well, buddy.
Unless this was my ploy the entire time.
That's fine. I'll
The
take
bid Dish Soap up.
I'm thinking about it. But I mean, the
45 on Dish Soap to Bryce. Going once. Going twice.
I'll go 46.
Okay, Bryce, it's yours if you want for 47.
No, it's yours.
46 on Dish Soap. Wow.
He's due.
That is one of the highest we've seen in quite some time. Holy moly.
He's due.
And Milala is basically out for the rest of the draft until the final picks.
I don't actually know if I wanted him in that spot. Once I realized where you were at money wise, I was just curious if you would go all in for him. I was curious how highly valued him.
Broke
If
the bank.
if I got him for 45, I was kind of fine with that.
Yeah.
Franchise player.
It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine too. I think in your situation, if you're willing to build 42, you have to be willing to bid 46. There's no diff.
There's
right?
no
You might-
difference.
Yeah,
There's no
there's like no difference.
Okay. Did Milala bitch this up or did Wasian started this up, right? Milala, you're up
Oh,
next.
yeah, I started it.
You bid someone for
I'll,
$1 basically.
Yeah, sure. I'll put up Robin for $1.
Oh, that's actually funny.
2. 5. I mean, I think he's weaker than 4, but like, yeah, I'm gonna bid a lot more money than 5. So let's like move it up.
5. Sure.
Or
6.
am I?
That's actually crazy. 5.
Yeah, I'll go 6.
Seven.
Robin songs for $7. Going to Bryce.
Milala, do you want to bid?
I would love to. Wait, how's Robin going to? Wait, I got bullied into picking myself for 20.
That's true. That's that $8.
$8 would be really useful right now.
What happened?
All right. Robin songs for $7 to Bryce. Going once. Going twice. Oh wow. This is the lowest Robin's gone by a huge margin.
You guys, I get it. I'm low on Robin relative to his standard form too, but like it's Robin.
That's a steal.
And
It
it's
is.
no
It is.
That's
He's
a
way
steal.
too consistent to go for $7.
Yeah.
Come on, this is yeah.
Yes, but that was on Wasian.
I think I know the other half of Wasianiverson's strategy. His name might rhyme with Metsuko.
All right.
Hmm.
My turn. Setsuko for 40.
$41.
Oh, 42.
I mean, there's no way we're gonna have one bid on Setsuko, right? Like surely. whatever you bid,
Yeah.
you're putting
42.
numbers.
42.
Yeah.
Like, I want to bid, but if I buy Setsuko here, and I can't buy
can't buy
myself, so I have to save money.
He put it.
I have to eat
40.
Oh.
Is that 42 right now?
42. Yeah.
Man,
42. Going once.
Really, these are big numbers.
Going twice.
43.
Ooh. 43, 40, 44. For Zuko to myself. I should change this real quick. Look.
45.
Whoa. 45 for Setsuko. Going once. Going twice. All right, Bryce got Setsuko for 45. That's one of the biggest I think Bryce has ever bid on somebody, by the way. So you really,
I feel good about it.
yeah, you had the wiggle room for sure. Okay, Bryce, you're up next.
I nominate Wasian for 46.
Wait, I thought I was gonna go for like 35. Wait, what?
No, I think you're right. If I can get you for 46, then I take you for 46. And if you want to bid 47, I think that's reasonable.
Do you want yourself for 47, Wasian? I'll let you have it for 47. I
Wait,
promise.
You have to? I feel like you should.
I feel like you have to draft yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to. There have been a few
My
instances
hands are
of
tied.
people not drafting themselves, but
All right, 47.
All right. I'm a man of my word, Bryce. All right, you can't. You have a choice. Okay, Wasianiverson to Wasianiverson for 47, the highest paid player of the draft.
Milala, I think you got screwed by where you got drafted relative to the other big three, because Milala and I saw this completely the same way, and I think that there's a crazy amount of value at the top three of the draft, and so like I think you're all actually worth this draft.
How am I gonna get replay for $12?
You're not, man.
No.
Fucking not.
Replay is basically between me and Bryce.
You could. I don't know how you thought you had a draft strategy where you were gonna get yourself, Precedent, and replay. That was never going to happen.
Oh, I thought it was like $33 each, and then
Yeah.
$1 for the last two players.
Sorry.
I mean, it would have been
that.
until you two bid each other up at the very start of the draft. Okay, Milala, you're up next to see if you can sneak someone for $1 if you want.
I'll go Darth for $1.
Darth Noob for $1.
Yeah, I'll go too.
This is the fun part. I assume that the tough thing for Milala in this spot is you don't want to wind up this much down money against the person who sees the people the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna get value.
I got a deep list.
I'll go Darth for 3.
Oh, the thing is, like, is there even a difference between like
No.
$2 and like?
Yeah,
all in.
no, for you, it's basically you should go like 11 if you really
I
believe
should
it.
just take who I want, right?
Yeah, if in this situation you really want Darth, it's pretty much always correct. Just bid 11 so you don't get squeezed on it.
Oh, well, I should leave like $2 so I can like snake Milala, right?
Yeah, you could.
There's
So you can
an
go
argument
10.
for that. Yes.
You can
Snake
go
Milala
10.
money.
That's
I'll go like 6 for Darth.
7.
Oh fuck.
Uh,
I mean, I'll take him. He's value. This is good value for player 9. Just bid 11. I bid 10. Or sorry, wait. You want?
if you bid 10, I have to give up.
Yeah, I bid 9. I bid 9. Sorry.
Saying you can have it for 10.
Yes. But I'll also take him for 9 if you don't want him. Happily.
I think we're gonna give up.
Oh, Darth to Bryce for 9. It's hard. It depends on how you feel. Darth Reed is, but he's really consistent these days. Okay, so I'm up next. I guess the big ticket item here is replay. I'll just start him at 30.
38.
Okay, 39, I guess. So then I just get replay.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess I lost $1. Oh well. Bryce.
Philip for $1.
Philip for $1. Oh my God, you're robbing Milala. What a play. All right.
I mean, Milala was never getting him. The interesting thing is does Wasian want him?
Not our baby boy, Philip.
Well, now I think it's like, do I want like Philip or Toronto Tokyo? Because I also know who like the other player I want is.
Wait, I know who you want is.
Well, even if you want them also, then I have more money than you, so it's all good.
What a flex. Oh man.
Oh man. All right, I believe in Philip. $2.
$2, Bryce.
Wait,
I'm out.
Give me 1 sec.
$2 on Philip. Philip in chat.
who is Philip?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, Philip going once, going twice. Wasian actually just drafted the homies. He drafted Preston and Soju and then Wasian and Philip. I like that. Wasian, you're up next.
I'll go weird. Force and Smurf account, $10.
Oh, Okay, Forsen Smurf account. Wow. Wait, where is he? Here's it.
11.
Below Philip.
Thank you. That is how the alphabet works. All right, $11 for Bryce. So Bryce takes it. Was that all gassing up for Wasianiverson so that Bryce could take it? Or was that
bait?
Huh?
Wasian, was that bait?
There's no way.
But did he bait him or did he actually believe it?
No, you can say now because he's on.
Yeah, you can say it. Doesn't matter.
I got him.
No.
Oh,
Bryce
yeah,
bid 11, so he stole it.
That was not bait. I actually
Okay.
wanted.
I didn't think it was. Okay, I didn't think it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I literally haven't watched him play a single game, but if you think he's the best player left on the board, then your opinion's better than mine, so I'll take him.
Okay. So now, Milala, once more, you get a chance to try to see if you can sneak a $1 wager on.
I'm going to go with my boy, Toronto and Tokyo.
For a $1. Toronto Tokyo for $1. Oh, going once? Going twice? Sold to Milala. Nice job. $1. And historically, Toronto Tokyo has performed well because when he was available for drafted, he has performed very well. So, all right, I'm up next. I'm going to go... Ooh, this is an interesting spot. I'm going to go Kiyun for $11.
Now it's just if Bryce wants him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I pass.
Okay, I got Kiyun. Oh, I even did the Kiyun strat. I had actually leftover dollars. Okay. Bryce, you get to pick whoever you want.
This is Pocky, right? The Furinish Mayoshi?
Yeah, that's Pocky.
Oh, God. There are two people who I thought I was going to wind up with on my team, and I'm only going to get... I only have one spot left because I decided to grab Darth. And I kind of want Darth on my team, but I also sort of regret it. I would like swap it for one of these people. Man, fuck. I don't think either of these people are getting drafted either. Well, actually, maybe Milala or Wasian will. I feel like Appies is being like criminally like underrated. I think that he's scary again. I've said that a couple of times, but I think that he's like his ladder results are way, way better, which is so unusual for him. And then conversely, I think Pocky is like perpetually underrated, but he struggled in tournaments, but his ladder stats are insane and it should be a good meta for him. And I think he's such a good player. I think I take Pocky, but I feel so sad about Appies not getting picked because I think he belongs on a team for sure. I think he's like so good.
I think that's correct, Bryce, for what it's worth. I wanted Pocky as well. But I know that you could, if I bid high on him, or if I bid on him, I think you would just take him anyways. So.
But in that situation, Dan, I think that's the reason why I snaked from Wasian there is because I think in that situation you're incentivized to just bid on whoever you think it should be. I think playing those mind games is like really risky, so I think you just like take your shot and hope that no one else wants him. Like I would take, for example, I would take Pocky or Appies over Kiyun.
Oh, I'm saying like in your spot, I think it's Pocky's, and I think I would want. That's what I'm saying. I think Kiyun and Pocky are interchangeable, in my opinion.
Fair.
Okay.
I think yeah.
They're both similar in terms of like I think their upsides. Okay, Wasian, who do you want?
Okay, so I feel like I was planning on like also drafting T-Lides, but recently I've been watching his stream a lot, and he's been averaging like a 6 every single day. So I feel like I can't pick him anymore. I'm picking Ripple.
Ripple Overdrive. Okay.
Yeah, $10.
$10.
Who you got?
Okay.
Milala gets the final pick.
I thought Wasian was gonna pick T-Lides. Okay,
Dan,
honestly,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I think I have a bunch of money left over. Like I don't bid 28 on Pocky. I don't. It wasn't the final.
Technically you bid $10.
Okay.
I'm like between T-Lides, King Krax, and Yoonwolf. I actually think King Krax is pretty good right now, but I gotta stick with the boys. I'm gonna go with T-Lides.
I didn't know that you and T odds were boys.
Mormon mode.
Mormon
mode.
All right. So there you have it, guys.
On sub community within the TFT space. It's the Mormons.
Thus concludes probably the sweatiest fantasy draft we've done in quite some time. It is also like a draft I didn't prepare for as well. So I actually wish I knew that it was going to be so sweaty because I think I would have prepped a lot harder for it.
I didn't prep at all either, if it makes you feel any better. But I just like once these guys started sweating their balls off, I was like, all right, fuck, I guess I have to lock in.
Yeah.
You guys, that was actually really fun. That was like by far the sweatiest draft we've done, and I'm dead serious. Like we should do it again sometime and do it first, and then that way we can just draft and we can use the draft to talk about the players. So like once they're off the board, they're off the board.
For sure. Really interesting stuff. Okay, now who won the draft is the really interesting thing. Historically, by the way, whoever chat votes has historically cursed. I don't think chat's ever got it correct. So be careful who you guys choose between Wasian and Milala.
Chat, if you want to break the curse, vote for my team. My team is not legal. There is no way.
Oh, but you have a lot of flame out potential. Like a lot of flame out potential.
Nope, 0% flame out potential.
No. But like you actually have a lot of flame out potential because like the upside of these players are really high for sure. But like
you drafted DQA, Spencer, Casper, and Kiyun, and you're talking about my.
But like I'm not here telling people to vote for me. That's the difference.
Oh, okay. Fair.
No. I don't think my team's the best on paper, but it's fantasy. Anyone can win. My team is like my team is definitively mid.
Okay, I feel like Wasian is the other good team. No.
I feel like Soju
dude,
for $10.
I don't know.
Can't be bad. Like it actually can't be bad.
I agree.
Final lobby regionals. Anytime he tries, he always makes snapshots. Like there's no way $10 for Soju is bad.
Bro, Soju's not really trying, man. Have you watched his games?
Yeah, but isn't this kind of always true for like the last three sets?
This dude with Twin Terrors playing 2 Pantheons on his board instead of a second Vex. You tell me if he's trying.
I mean, your tweet even said that, Dan. Like when you did the summary of the meta, you included 2 Panth as like an option in that. Like I don't know.
Oh, that was just an example of like a board that you played. No, I'm saying like because in that situation, dude, you think I'm lucky enough to hit 2 Vexes? What are you talking about?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, the thing about Soju is he will make mistakes like that because he doesn't watch other people play really. But then the hope is that he doesn't get in those spots or that someone has yapped at him about it before he gets in that spot so he doesn't make that mistake. And his fundamentals are really good and it's a new big patch. So I don't know. I mean, like, Nature's messaged me saying that it was cowardice to put him on my ballot, that I should have left him off. And I was like, big patch Soju, you never know. Like, he always could make top 8. So I feel like $10 for him is super reasonable, Wasian.
Oh, $10 for Soju in general is
but
reasonable.
He has peak flame out potential. I mean, he could finish dead last.
No, he actually doesn't though. If you look at Soju's historical tournament results, the one thing about him is that he's always like middle of the pack because this guy's a top 4 player.
Yeah, that's
Soju like tends to overroll, which means that he always gets he can go like 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, and but then that means that if he goes like a first, he can like potentially sneak through.
No, you're actually right. What I really mean is he can get day 3, but
he can get day 3 for sure.
He'll put points on the board for sure. You're right.
All right. I think he realizes he did not qualify for regional set, so he's trying. Oh, now he realized.
$10 look really good.
I already told him. I was like, dude, are you not trying? All right, looks like Wasian won. Congratulations, Wasian. Chat believes in you the most. So we go ahead and get some final words. Longer episode. The draft ended up going a little bit longer than I anticipated. But also because it's the beginning of set 10, we had a lot to talk about going into it. We had to cover like Vegas and everything. So appreciate you guys for spending time. I know it's really late over there in the Eastern time. So Wasian, you won the draft vote by chat poll. Any final words before we wrap this episode?
Oh yeah, hopefully it's not a curse, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. Hopefully the draft wasn't too sweaty, but yeah, it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to KDA Cup.
Oh, it's great. We just need to get some background music because apparently that's what EU does. Like their production value is so much better than us. Like we're just out here just scuffing it up. But that's North America for you. All right, Milala, thank you so much for joining us.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm also pretty happy with my team. I have like 3 Worlds reps and the Vegas champ and Dish Soap. So I mean, yeah, it's reps.
This guy just referred to himself in the third person as the Vegas champ. didn't even say his fucking name, man. He just referred to himself as the Vegas champ.
It was like a list of credentials.
My God, what a giga chat.
I mean, what? I have 3 worlds reps, and I have the world champion. I have Kiyun. That's like the same. That's gotta be worth something, Chad.
Yeah,
3 votes.
Kiyun,
Come on, man.
Being Kiyun has got to be worth more than being the Vegas champ. Like, if you ask, when we pulled when we did our applications for Vegas, the scholarship thing, and we asked people to submit their favorite clip of TFT history, like a third of them were Kiyun.
Yeah, a
That's
third of
just,
them
like,
were
the most
Kiyun, for
by
sure.
far, he was the most.
All right, Bryce.
This was fun. I feel like 2 hours is the standard length for these episodes now, by the way. Like, I feel like we just pushed it, and now 2 hours is like a pretty reasonable cap. But that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the sweaty fantasy draft. Hopefully chat did too. It's cool, like, drafting with people who are strategizing about it, and I have no idea if my team's actually good or not. I've like never watched less TFT than I have right now, but it was fun. I enjoyed the strategy of, even if my head has just been mostly cribbing off of your guys' knowledge.
You're due for a spike. I think even though Bryce has done poorly in set 9, he also did get unlucky in his fantasies. So he's due for a spike.
If you look at some of those drafts, but it's interesting to show that, like, there is some skill to it. Like, my draft results were better when I watched more players. Like, I had edge when a lot of the edge in these drafts comes from making the right bets on the lower money players, actually. And I used to do that very well, and I did that very poorly in general for the last couple of sets. Now, I had a couple of sets where they actually, or a couple of tournaments where they performed well, and then my, like, Setsuko or Dish Soap or whatever randomly flamed out, which is a bummer. But yeah, watching TFT helps.
For me, thanks so much for everyone tuned in. It's our first episode of Set 10. Thank you so much to everyone who rated and supported it. Thank you, Press Events. Good luck to everyone competing. This weekend, I'll be co-streaming it. Bryce will try to join whenever he can, intermittently. Iniko said he'll be one of our main guests on the show. We will see if we can get the usual folks as well, like Ramblin' Ray. And if you also want to hop onto the co-stream, please let me know. And also, Sunday is the mid-set where Milala will be competing. He's going to win KDA Cup, and he's going to also win mid-set while he's at it on behalf of North America. Go NA. Also, we did officially expand to EU and EMEA. That our first episode was hosted by Impetuous Panda and Alan ZQ. It's going to be hosted on his channel. We're just licensing it to him. It's their project, whatever they wanted to make of it of their vision. So you can go check it all out at youtube.com/@DTIYDK. Thanks so much for watching. From Frodan and Bryce, Wasianiverson and Milala, this has been Don't Talk If You Don't Know, episode 39, KDA Preview. We'll see you guys next time for more TFT action. Peace.